Hello there, welcome to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. I hope you're having a good afternoon. My name is Robert K. Sarkos, and today I will be giving you my predictions for the 2023-2024 Premier League season. Now, it's a bit of a tricky one because the transfer window doesn't close until late in August, and yet the league will have already started. So, it may be subject to amendments depending on how teams continue to behave in the transfer window between now and then. But here is what I think will transpire in the course of next season. Who will be number one? Who will be number two? Who will miss out on the Champions League places? Who will feature? Who will qualify for the Europa League? Who will be relegated? Here are my predictions. So let's get them started. And number one, I think will be Arsenal. After their commiserations of last season, having missed out on the championship by a whisker, losing the title by 5 points less of the champions, Manchester City, I think they will be even highly motivated, much better to try and push for the title. And I think Mikel Arteta will guide the Gunners to their first Premier League title since 2004. With the additions they've made to the squad of Jurriën Timber, Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, and possibly David Raya, who since yesterday we have learned that his move to Arsenal will be a loan move worth £3 million with an option to buy for £27 million based on performance, will be a great addition to that squad. Now, ever since his appointment back in December 2019, Mikel Arteta has been making progress after progress. In his first half season, he finished 8th, whereas he went on to finish 8th in his first full season. The season after that, despite all the criticism, he finished 5th. When everybody said they bottled it in their pursuit of the Champions League place, it was painful, but they did learn lessons. After that, what did they do? They pushed Manchester City and challenged them for the title last season, and they fell short and they finished second. However, I think they will be champions in May 2024. It won't be without challenge because they will be playing in the UEFA Champions League where they haven't featured in as many years. So it will be a tough one, but I think their squad is now good enough to compete at both fronts. That is not to say they will win the Champions League, but I think they will win the Premier League. In number two, I think it will be Manchester City, the treble winners, who has the audacity to even suggest that they can't do it again. I mean, Pep Guardiola is that good. They had a wonderful season. They won all three major trophies. That's the FA Cup, the English Premier League, and the UEFA Champions League. They've taken off pressure off their shoulders on that pursuit for the Champions League, which they won for the first time. And I think, in my view, despite the view that Manchester City's squad has been weakened with the departures of Ilkay Gundogan, the departure of Riyad Mahrez, and who knows potentially who could be on the exit. There's interest for Bernardo Silva from Saudi Arabia as well as Barcelona, but Manchester City have made it clear that he won't be for sale, and they've handed him a new contract which he's yet to sign from what we gather. However, they've also made additions in Mateo Kovacic, in Joško Vardijola, the defender from RB Leipzig, and I think they will still be a potent side to compete. You can never write Pep Guardiola off. He has won the title 5 times. He has won the title 5 times, only missing it out when Liverpool beat him to the title, and perhaps in his first season when Chelsea went on to win it under the stewardship of Antonio Conte. So, nonetheless, with all their strength and their big squad, and who knows who they will add, they are already expressing interest in signing Western midfielder Lucas Paqueta. There's rumor that they are interested in the services of Kaoru Mitoma from Brighton, and who knows who else they may be able to add in before the transfer window shuts. But I think they will finish second. In third place will be the Red Devils of Manchester United. They did finish third last season, and I think they will finish third again this season. It's not to say that they won't be pushing to finish higher than that, but I think eventually that's where they will finish. Eric Ten Hag, in my opinion, had a very wonderful season in his first campaign in the Premier League, given all the troubles that were at Manchester United, including the Cristiano Ronaldo scandal that they managed to walk through, whichever way you look at it. So I think he will push his team again, but they will eventually finish third, in spite of their additions in Andre Onana, Mason Mount, among others. And whichever the exits are, of course, they will be losing some players, but I don't think these are critical players. If you lose Fred, if you lose Harry Maguire, who, for those that love banter, will miss his features at Manchester United. But I think they will finish third. In number 4 will be Liverpool. Now, Liverpool comes into the new season as a bit of an unknown quantity beyond the pedigree of Jurgen Klopp, because they're in that process of transition, trying to rebuild the team. They've had quite many departures, the likes of James Milner, Fabinho, Roberto Firmino, they've all left the team. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, he wasn't a mainstay in the starting lineup, but he was a good member of the squad. The likes of Naby Keita, who was, the sick man of the Reds, almost always injured. Arthur Melo, who had a regrettable loan spell, he has returned. But I think with the likes of Ruben Diaz, Diego Jota, Darwin Núñez, Dominic Soboslai, that they've just recruited, they will be a competitive side and they will be fourth. The reason as to why I put them fourth is that a couple of question marks on their defense, despite having a good goalkeeper in Alisson, Ramses Baker, the likes of Virgil van Dijk, they sort of struggle in defense, and we saw that last season with the number of goals they did concede. So those are my top 4 in the Premier League: Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Liverpool. If you think I'm wrong, give me your views down in the comment section. Moving on, in number 5, I think Chelsea will finish number 5. Why? They have a new manager in Mauricio Pochettino, who knows the Premier League very well, more than most managers, if I'm to say the least. However, their squad is a new squad. It's still a bloated squad despite all the departures they've had. They're still signing more players. So they've had the major injury with Christopher Nkunku, who suffered a knee injury that he had to go for surgery. But I think Mauricio Pochettino will be able to galvanize that team and have them finish 5th. They did finish 12th last season, but I think they'll be much better this season. They'll have no pressure of playing in any European competition, so they will be mainly focused on playing in the Premier League, and perhaps in January when they start playing the FA Cup, among other small competitions like the Carabao Cup. So I think it will give Pochettino the time he needs to, work his squad to play the way he wants them to play. They'll be aggressive, they'll run around. If you remember that Spurs side that went on to the UEFA Champions League finals, in that when they lost to Liverpool, so I think they will finish 5th. In number 6, I've gone with Brighton. De Zerbi, I think Roberto De Zerbi will be, will push his team again to finish as high as 6th, despite that they are going to be playing in the Europa League. He's a manager that has managed in the European competitions before, so he knows what to expect. He will remain competitive in the local league. At number 7, I've gone with Tottenham Hotspurs, but this is highly questionable. As I record this video, news has come out that Tottenham have accepted a bid from Bayern Munich of up to 100 million euros for striker Harry Kane. Now, if Harry Kane leaves Tottenham, that will be a game changer, in my opinion, for Tottenham. We know Harry Kane has been the light for Tottenham for as many seasons as you can remember. He's been their top scorer season in, season out, as well as their captain. Last season, he scored 30 goals that in any other season would win you the Golden Boot. But of course, there was Haaland with his 36 goals that he ran away with the Golden Boot. So if Harry Kane does leave Tottenham, it may change my opinion of where they could potentially finish, even if they will also not be playing in the Europa League, in the European competitions, that they will have all their focus on the Premier League. They do have a new manager in Ange Postecoglou from who joined from Celtic. He signed a 4-year deal, but even Spurs as a team will be going through some major changes, and they will have a new goalkeeper. So we expect many changes there. So if Harry Kane does leave also, it may change my view about them. It makes them a less potent force, especially in their forward line that Harry Kane has led for so many times. So I think they will finish second if he decides to stay, because now it's up to him to decide whether he wants to move to Bayern Munich or he wants to stay. But Tottenham have accepted that bid from Bayern Munich. In number 8, I think it will be Aston Villa. Unai Emery will push Aston Villa again. They've recruited some good players, including defender Pau Torres from Villarreal. They've recruited free agent Yuri Tillemans, who was at Leicester City last season. The Belgian international is a good midfielder. They've recruited winger Moussa Diaby from Bayer Leverkusen. So I think they will be competitive, but with their attention on the Europa League, trying to win it. With their attention on the UEFA Conference League, they sort of will maybe struggle a bit in the league in some cases, but they will finish 8th. In number 9, I think it will be Newcastle. Now, a lot of people will be surprised. Why do I put Newcastle in 9th? Now, Ed Howe, this is going to be his first season playing in the Champions League, guiding his team into the Champions League, whereas they've made additions with the likes of Sandro Tonali from AC Milan, Harvey Barnes from Leicester City, among others. I think they will struggle a bit. Champions League is so much based on experience and all those things. Usually newcomers tend to struggle both at the Champions League front and back home. We've seen that with a number of teams over the years, including but not limited to the likes of Leicester City. We've seen it with West Ham, although they went on to win the UEFA Conference League last season. They did struggle back at home, so I think they may find it a bit struggle to remain as competitive as they were last season in the league, so they will finish 9th. At number 10, I think it will be Brentford. Brentford are a good side, but they will finish 10th. So I'll move on to the relegation. Now, the relegation is a bit interesting. It's a bit also a little bit hard to call, but I do think that Luton Town will be relegated. They are newcomers, but I think they will finish bottom. I think Sheffield United will be relegated. They'll finish 19th, whereas Bournemouth. Now, this was a close call between Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. Who do I think will be relegated between the two? It's a hard one to call. But I'm tipping Nottingham Forest to drop. So those are my predictions for the top 4 or the top 10 teams in the Premier League for the 2023-2024 season, and those are my predictions for which teams will be relegated, who the surprise package of the season could be. I think Burnley could do well, the way sort of Fulham tried to perform last season, but we will see how it goes. But those are my predictions. What are your predictions? Who do you think will be champion of the Premier League? Who do you think will qualify for those Champions League places? Who do you think will make it for the Europa League? And who do you think will be relegated? Give me your views down in the comment section. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and also to click that subscribe button so that we can make it to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching and see you next time.